course, we got a full house of rugby. Well, as full house as it gets these days with just New Zealand and Australia, of course. We've got 4 games to talk about this weekend. Starting off a Friday morning, we've got 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. You'll look if you look at who's joining me tonight, you'll notice one glaring absentee, Oracle Rugby. No sign of him. I think he went 0 for 4 last weekend. He didn't appear on the show. And that means that we can welcome back Couch Critic, because Couch, of course, has lost a bit of money to Oracle of late. And I didn't want to come on the show with Oracle on, but welcome, Couch. No Oracle tonight.
Sounds like it was the wrong weekend for me not to go double or quits there.
That's it. I mean, whatever you'd gone that went against him, you would have certainly ended up winning. It was a bit of a tough weekend for him. Certainly, I enjoyed the weekend, got involved in the Durban July. No luck in the July, but fortunately, what do they say? The lucky last. I managed to get out of it in the last race by catching a few swingers. But let's go down to the bottom now and welcome Hendrik Swart. Hendrik, good to have you back on the show.
Hi, Brent. Yeah, nice to be back again. I was hoping to get a bet with Oracle last week, but unfortunately, I was aligned on a lot of games with him. And as you can think, I didn't have the best of weekends either. So, yeah, hoping to bounce back this weekend.
Excellent. And then we go to Thoughts on Sports. Neil, good to have you back on the show. It's been a couple of weeks. I know I've been watching your Twitter feed and here and there. I know you're pretty confident this weekend. You're itching to get stuck in.
No, Brent, I had a couple of good weeks and looking to sort of take it to the bookies again. Got a couple of nice plays for the lads in the audience today, so I'm looking forward to sharing those views.
Excellent. Looking forward to that as well. Yeah, I was just looking at the outright betting on both competitions, particularly the Aussie competitions, virtually one-way traffic there now, 9-20, the Brumbies. Couch, you got any more interest in the outrights at this point, or are you just letting your early bets ride?
No, nothing else. I think it's pretty much the bombed in Aotearoa with the Hurricanes. Hurricanes lost. I mean, that's blown out of the water there. So it's goodbye on that one. And the DMAC point score, I haven't even checked it. I pretty much wrote that one off as well, with Moanga scoring tries as well. So it's a bloodbath on that front. So it's just let's forget about it and focus game by game.
Excellent. Well, let's start with the first game, and I want to start with you, Hendrik. We've got the Force here plus 9.5 against the Rebels, 9.5. That's at Bet Exchanger. Looking around, I think most of the bookmakers are in this region. What do you make of this one? I know if Oracle was here, he'd definitely be on the Force.
Yeah, Brent, I've been on the Force most games, and I've won here and there, and I've lost last week. It was my best bet, and it comfortably lost. They were really never in it. They were nulled. I like the team they've picked here. The new centre combination, a bit of experience there, and Ian Pryor back at scrum off. Rebels missing Dane Petty. I'm going for the plus here. I think it opened up at about 11.5, if I remember correctly. It's now about 9.5. I think it's still worth the play. Going for the Force on the plus here. There was points early in the week in this one as well, 44.5 on Monday already. I'm not sure whether the 44.5 is still available. I see BetXchange has 47.5 now. I see Son of a Punt commented that they like the overs here, and I think the overs might be the way to go. Yeah, it's tough going overs in these Aussie games. But I think there might be points in this one. Somewhere we have to get some points in the Aussie games, and this quote is just too low to go under. So I'm on the Force on the plus, and I'll look at some sort of overs play, either overs on total points or overs on Force points.
Right, well, I know conditions are going to be good, and I think I know Son of a Punt boys, and we'll have a bet from them later on the show. They have sent a video through as well. But Neil, I think I could be wrong, but I'd say you were one of the first guys on the overs. I think you got over 44.5. Or am I mixing you up with someone else?
No, Brent, spot on there. I managed to get the early value of over 44.5. Admittedly, it was only at 0.79, so slightly lower odds than I would like, but still sort of climbed into that overs. I thought that was an absolute gift. Usually when the bookies come out with these early points lines, you can very much get an opinion of where it's going to go. I sort of drafted a points line of about 49.50.5 for this game. And even then, I'd still be leaning towards the overs in that. So I still think at 46.5, 47.5, it's still a great shot for the overs. Reason being is that Force will be looking to sort of make a bit of a statement after last week's scoreless display. And I can feel that Ian Price is an absolute sharpshooter off the tee. I think he's missed one all competition, so I expect them to sort of keep the points ticking over there. And Rebels will be chasing the bonus point to sort of get in the playoff hopes and maybe potentially top the comp, although I highly doubt that. So I see a lot of points in this game. Conditions looking good. Angus Gardner on the whistle. No, it's shaping up to be points all day long for this.
And do you have any interest in the handicap on this one, or are you just focusing on the points market?
No, Brent, when I capped this game, I also capped it at 9.5, so it's pretty much spot on to where it is right now. But I see the Rebels have Nice Irani back, which is a bit of a boost for them. I feel like they've been lacking a bit of firepower up front. So that's I'll probably be staying out of the handicap for this. But if I had to lean, I'm quite loyal to the Perth boys there. So I would be leaning to the Force Plus, but no real confidence for me with this one.
Excellent. Well, it's actually, I'm pleased you mentioned your handicap because I quickly popped onto the Good of the Game forum. I see I priced this one at Force plus 12.5. So in theory, I should be leaning towards the Rebels here, but no real firm opinion on that. I was impressed with the Rebels last week against the Waratahs, though. 29-10, they beat them. And I think many will know I was actually on the Waratahs in that game, and there was a lot of money for the Waratahs. They were backed into favourites and really totally outplayed by the Rebels. And I've got to say that, perhaps the 9.5, I might be going against the grain here with most of the guys, but if anything, I'd be leaning towards the Rebels there. Couch, you come in on this game. You got any bets for us on the handicap? I'm sure you've got a few try scorers up your sleeve.
Oh, Brent, the Force finally delivered exactly what I expected from them all season last week. It was beautiful. They couldn't beat the donut. It was fantastic watching the Brumbies get stuck in their forward pack all day long. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed that one there. Sorry to the lads who lost out, but just looking at that team, I can't have them. I can't. This morning, the New Zealanders are talking about fly off. Who's the fly off for them?
Jono Lance.
Jono Lance being the Wallaby 10. I mean, you should retire and leave rugby as a team if Jono Lance is going to start the international for you at 10. It's Slim Shady's not going to cut it. They're in trouble there. But in the centres, Kaui and Godwin back, I think that's a big deal for them. It's an improvement again to guys who probably well past their prime, but still it's good for them. So I'm expecting something better. Prior is huge. It's important. So I'm with the guys. I think if you're going to go for something, you should probably go for points. I mean, it's obviously adjusted off the back of that seriously poor showing, and they can't do worse than that in dry conditions. And at the very least, I think they're going to throw it around and try and get it to Marcel Brachy on the wing. So it should be kind of entertaining, but it's just about whether they have the skill to pull off some of those moves and finish it. But no, to me, the way I'm going to go, I think 9.5 is actually well set. And I'm gonna stick to the theme. I just think the Force can't put 80 minutes together. So I'm expecting them to come out, chuck it about, maybe get a try early, and then fight again in the second half. So I'm backing that second half handicap, Rebels minus 5.5. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I must say I like that one. Neil, you got anything to add on this game?
No, Brent, I've definitely seen a theme in these New Zealand and Australian games where there's quite a lot of points in the first half, and then the team sort of cool off in the first 20 minutes and then sort of come alive in the last 20. So another play I quite like is over 21.5 points in the Force Rebels game tomorrow. I think that is cracking value. I saw it, Bet Exchange had it at about 8 to 10 earlier today. So I think, if you work it out, that probably places it at about 8.5 Force points and then 12.5 Rebels points. So I'd be pretty happy to take overs on both of those sides. I mean, that's a try and a penalty for the Force, and then 2 tries for the Rebels, which I can easily see happening. So yeah, over 21.5 first half points is a good runner for me.
Yeah, a lot of the games in Super Rugby, and I go across the boards here, Australia and particularly New Zealand, we've seen high scoring first halves, and then the points have dried off. So certainly, I think if you'd been going overs in first half, you'd probably be doing okay. Anybody got anything to add on this one, Couch? Anything more from your side?
Yeah, Brent, just in terms of the try scorers, to juice up the price, I've gone for a win cost on Marika Korobetti to be the first try scorer and Rebels to win the game, so you can get that at 11-1. But then the biggest one I've ever played thus far as a try scorer, Pone Famasili, that monster prop off the bench. He's an absolute baller. Geez, what a player. He should be in the NRL. He's in rugby union. He's going to score a try sometime, and I've got to be on him. At 55-1, I'm dumping the hookers. It's onto a prop 55-1 last try scorer, Falmasili. Get in, big man. Get in.
And is that a special price that the Bet Olymp guys are giving you and those who follow you, or is he generally 55-1?
No, definitely. They're always boosted up a little bit. I'm not sure what you can get, but I'll probably about 40-1 most places. But I'm pretty sure you won't be able to beat the 55-1 there.
Right, to get on Couch's 55-1 there, you can also read his preview on the Good for the Game website. That's the Force against the Rebels Friday morning. Let's move on then to Saturday. Now, this is an interesting game. Chiefs up against the Crusaders. I see the current handicap is 6.5 points. I know there was plus 9.5 Chiefs earlier in the week, and I'm going to start with Henrik because I know he's got a very firm opinion on this game.
Yeah, Brent, I like the Chiefs here. Obviously, the Chiefs, they've been very poor. They haven't won a game yet, and it's tough to make a case for them. But the Crusaders, they've shown some vulnerability, and losing to the Hurricanes last week at home, that was a bit of a big upset. I just think this handicap for the Chiefs is just too high, and I won't be surprised if the Chiefs win this game. I like that Aaron Cruden is back starting at 10. He's made a difference when he's come on. Angus Taubau back on the bench, and he'll definitely make a difference to the scrum when he comes on. And then the big one, Joe Moody not playing. Joe Moody's been brilliant for the Crusaders, and he's very important for the Crusaders. So that's a big one for me not playing. And then also Brandon Ennor not back yet, and the 13, I can't even remember his name, starting for the Crusaders last week. He got exposed on the defense a bit, and I expect a bit of that as well. So yeah, I like the plus here. I got onto the plus 9.5. I think some more 8.5 today. I'm not sure whether there's 8.5 still available. Probably not. Generally about 6.5. But I'll take anything, any plus on the Chiefs because I just can't have the Crusaders at the moment. I think they're vulnerable, and yeah, the Chiefs, they're due for a game somewhere to click, and everything points to plus here for me. Points wise, I'm not sure which way to go here. Obviously, it depends on the quote. The quote will probably be low 50s. If I have to guess, and I like going unders, obviously, but then it might be one to go in play again. Like Neil said, a lot of first half just been high scoring, and then at half time you could go unders. So yeah, I'll probably stay out of the points pre-game and have an in play points play. Yeah.
Okay, let's go up to Couch and get his opinion on this one. Couch, did you get in on the early 9.5, or you're not involved in the handicap yet?
Brent, I had a little nibble there. I think it was 9.5 or 8.5, but to me, it's I'm backing the first. I was waiting for the first half handicap. Actually, I was hoping it was going to come out as high as possible. In agreement with Heinrich there. I'm sure probably Neil will follow suit as well. I think the Chiefs are going to be up for this one, and they're going to start hot, and it's their last home game and 100 matches for Cruden, and I think they're going to come off the bench or off the sheds there and really play hard. But I mean, this is the Crusaders, and last week again they pretty much came with a fight back, and they just didn't pull it off. Probably could have had extra time and probably sneak the win there. So the Crusaders to me are still the best team at closing out the game, and this Chiefs side has got to be horribly, out of form and under confidence in terms of sealing a win when they've got their head to head. So I'm taking the Chiefs at the best halftime handicap I can find. I've obviously seen the 3.5. I'm hoping I can get more, but 3.5, it covers you on that one penalty. So Chiefs plus 3.5 first half handicap that's a pretty strong play for me this week.
Excellent. Well, we'll come back to you for your try scorers picks. Before we go to Neil, just a welcome to the guys watching on the live chat. Most of them obviously on YouTube. But for the first time ever, we're streaming live to 3 platforms. So we're going to Twitter through Periscope. So you could be watching us on Twitter or Facebook as well. So 3 platforms live at the same time. So good to have you there. If you are watching on Facebook or Twitter, drop us a comment there as well and join the boys on YouTube. Chris is strong on the Chiefs. And now the question is thoughts on sports. Where are you going in this game?
No, Brent, anyone who knows me, whenever I get a handicap close to a double-digit cap for a New Zealand cap, and especially with the Chiefs at home, I think an absolute no-brainer in this one. And to add to that, whenever Sean, Nicholas, Henrik, son of a punt are all aligned with me, I don't need to get any more on that. That's enough for me. Chiefs 9.5. It's a gift. I've capped this game at about 5.5, 6.5. The Chiefs. I've only been poor in one game, and that was to the Blues, where they lost 24-12. Other than that, they've kept it pretty close in every single other game. They were very unlucky against the Blues on Saturday. I don't know if anyone saw that Josh Goodhue penalty. Was an absolute shocker from Pickerel. There should have been a penalty and a yellow card. Josh Goodhue off the park right there. Chiefs scrum win the game right there. So yeah, I'm full on in the Chiefs camp this week, and as Henrik outlined, I wouldn't be surprised if they take the W this week.
Right, interesting. So a lot of sentiment there towards the Chiefs. Just a welcome to Brendan Vessels, aka the conductor. He's actually watching on Twitter. He's commenting there, looking better, Donald. I can tell you that's a reference to me, because last week something went wrong and I was bright orange for the entire show. I took a lot of stick. Even my mom watched a bit of it the next day and gave me a little bit of a hard time. Couch, anything more for us on the try scorer front on this game?
Brent, just as a little bit of alternative play, as I said, I expect the Chiefs to start strong, and I still see the Crusaders winning the game. So Chiefs halftime, Crusaders full time. I think maybe if you can get around 6-1, that's great. 5.5, something like that. That's a nice little play. And I've even done a special at Bet Olymp for that, to Chiefs to lead by 1-8 at halftime, Crusaders to win by 1-12, and you get I think let's just get my price quickly. It's 14-1 on that, so I think that's a nice little nibble there. And then last try scorer, I'm going to go back to Hooker. I haven't played them for a while, so Makaleo coming off the bench for the Crusaders at 24-1 to score the last try and just seal a narrow victory for the men in red.
I must say, if you want to follow someone who tips nice long prices, then Couch Critic is your man. He comes up with these, and Couch, I've got to say, you've had a pretty good run of things of late. You've hit a lot of your try scorer bets, and certainly the nice thing is at 24-1, 14-1, you don't have to have a big bet to get some nice returns there.
Yeah, Brent, especially if you're not exactly confident on a handicap, and it's a nice little interest. And as I said, I like those half-time, full-time kind of plays as well. I quite enjoy that, and having a nice 5-1 or that kind of play. So no, I do enjoy the bigger prices.
Excellent. Well, welcome. I see one half of Son of a Punt, Jordan, is in the studio there, and he'll be sharing. Son of a Punt will be sharing their best bet with us towards the end of the show. I think that takes us then to the end of the second game. Let's go on to the final Aussie game, and it's Brumbies up against the Reds. Now, Henrik says he's got his best bet, so for that very reason, I'm going to make him wait till last, and we'll start with Neil on this one. Neil, Brumbies -6.5, Reds +6.5.
Brent, once again, I think this is superbly well priced here. I saw the points lines are out at about 50.5. At initial thought, it was an unders game for me, but then again, the Reds love scoring points and they love taking points as well. So with that being said, I think it's pretty well priced. I probably would lean in unders just based on pure history and just that it's an Aussie game. And with respect to the cap, I was quite happy to take plus Reds 7.5, mainly due to the fact that they had a bit of more beef up front. I see that Angus Scott-Young has been added to the pack and has shifted Lachlan Salakai a lot to the side of the scrum. So I think that just adds a bit more. And I see that Tate McDermott's been dropped to the bench, and I'm not too upset about that, because I think he can add a bit of impetus in the last 20 when the Chiefs do struggle. The Chiefs are a big first half side and tend to switch off in the second 40. So I'm not too upset about that. And I also see Jordan Patel who made his debut, I think, at age 20 in the World Cup is on the bench. So welcome back to him. I think he'll add a big spark. And then also over the moon to see my favorite player on the park, Bryce Hegarty, back on the bench. The Reds are a far better side with him not in it. So yeah, I quite like the look of the Reds, and I would take plus 7.5, plus 6.5. It's a bit tough. I always get a bit nervous backing under a try handicap, but yeah.
Excellent, yeah. But it reminded me of some of the Sunday morning bets I've been having lately, where I've been on like 6.5, 7.5, and getting nailed right at the end. Catch, what are your views on this game?
These Brumbies are so tough, Brent. I mean, on paper, and I'm a teams kind of guy, I've got to go with the players. And to me, I can't go against the Brumbies. They've got a solid front row. They've got Valentini and Samu for go forward ball in the back row. Out the back, they've got Patel just managing things, and obviously the new 10, but outside him, Tavita Grandrani hasn't even caught fire yet, but he's there. Keita will be better after one game on the park, and Tom Banks is only going to get better. So, I mean, I can't oppose a team like that. Definitely not with the Reds. I mean, they don't have that much to worry me. So I'm just going to stick to a Aussie derby and take the 1-12 Brumbies or 1-10. I've got 1-10 at 2-1. So that's probably where I'm going to go, and watch out for Jordan Patea coming off the bench there. As Neil also said, I'd probably back him for a last try scorer. 20-1 is a nice little price. He'll be hungry.
Excellent. And before we go to Henrik, just a reminder, you can sign up below in the description box to our Friday newsletter that goes out with our best bets. And I'm mentioning that because based on the fact that Henrik's posted a comment about his bet coming up, I'm guessing he's going to be pretty confident on this one. There's every chance it's going to headline our best bet newsletter tomorrow morning. Henrik, what you got for us here?
Yeah, Brent, I'm not sure about the newsletter bet because the other two guys doesn't seem a bit very confident, and they're probably going a wee bit against each other. I like the Brumbies very strong. Yeah, I like the minus. I'm surprised this gap hasn't shifted out, and I see it actually has come in a bit. There's -6.5 at 9-10 with Bet Exchange, just under the converted try. I think the Brumbies back at home, they will be on fire. For me, they're very good in Canberra. They're not always that good away from home, but in Canberra they come out firing. And I hear what Neil's saying about Tate McDermott adding impetus in the last 20 or so. But for me, it's very important to the Reds, and I'm very surprised that he's not starting. I expect the Brumbies to win by double figures here, and I'll be a bit nervous about that 1-12 minus going forward. Obviously, he gets a better price on that one, but I like the Brumbies very strongly, and I expect them to win by double figures.
Yeah, see, I priced this one Brumbies -7.5 in my Sunday handicap exercise, so not far out. But I must say, I'm leaning towards the Brumbies. Yeah, I always like them at Canberra. And for me, just the Reds haven't quite been what perhaps I was expecting them to be this season. They haven't quite delivered the goods. So I'll be going on the Brumbies there. Anything else, guys? Couch?
Brent, only one. What else? I think I had that half-time, full-time. I've got Brumbies to lead by 1-8 and Brumbies to win by 1-12, which gives you 15-2. But as Heinrich said, I suppose the only concern for me there is that 12 might not quite be enough. But 15-2, I think you could do worse.
Right. Well, Couch, let's stay with you, and you can lead us off on the next game. It's Sunday morning. It's the Highlanders up against the Blues. Here, Bet Exchange are priced at 5 points. Tino bet 9-10 the pair. I think this handicap's been pretty solid all week. I priced at Highlanders +4.5, so not a lot of early value for me. Do you see anything in this game?
Well, Brent, this is probably the game that I'm least confident on. I've got lost touch on this one. I'm not sure where the Blues are at. To me, they played with a lot of spirit and fire, and they've just lost their way a little bit this week. And I'd really like to see the team news. I think Askin Satuto is incredibly important. The Kiwi blokes, Cornflake and Driving Mall said this morning as well. It's like Akira Ioane is a good second fiddle as a carrier and enforcer, but not as the lead man. And I think he plays better when Satuto is there as well. So that's going to be crucial for them. And it's just a case of can they turn things around? They've been tinkering in that back line with Plummer and those guys, and they just need to get back to what they know and really start to fire. But this Highlanders team come off the back of an off week, and before that they came off a victory, so they'll be pumped. But then again, there's some turmoil in camp or some issues as well after they were out partying. So I'm holding station and waiting for the team news. As I've said before, I'm big on players and how they're going to influence the game. So I'll wait for team news. So there's nothing interesting me at this stage.
I see Andrew also joining us from Barcelona. We'll get a word from him earlier. He's also leaning towards the Brumbies there. Let's go down to Henrik and get his opinion on this game. The final game, of course, it's the Highlanders against the Blues.
Yeah, Brent, I'm with mine here. I'm very undecided on this one. I make a few notes on all the games before we come on the show, and I haven't written anything on this game. I don't know what to do here. It's well set. The best way is probably to go to plus on the Highlanders, them being at home. But this Blues side has been very impressive. So yeah, this is a tough one. I haven't got any money down on the handicap, and I probably won't put any money down on the handicap. So if I have to place a bet, I'll probably be on the plus, or might even take a bit of the Islanders to win by 1-12 at a very nice price. Because I can see them winning this one at home, but I don't know what to do yet. So what do you think, Brent?
Funny enough, on this game, I was looking at it as well. Now, you guys know me, I like the Blues, but I've actually done okay. I've actually done well on their games, and it doesn't mean I've gone for them every week. And I'm leaning towards the Highlanders here, Henrik. But I'm also thinking, I'm thinking of maybe just backing the Highlanders on the board. I see sort of just over 16-10 at Bet Exchange. Generally speaking, they're around the 16-10 mark. And I just think it is going to be a tight game. And the Highlanders, the way they came back to beat the Chiefs, I was super impressed with them. They just don't stop playing these guys.
I can't believe this, Brent. I can't believe this. It's shocking. Shocking stuff.
A lot of people think this is water. It's clearly something else in here. It's definitely not water for me to go against the Blues.
But if you like the Islanders to win, then the 1-12 is probably the better bet because you're getting a much better price than that 16-10 on them just to win.
Yeah, it's a good point. The only thing about the 1-12, and I mean, I do like the 1-12 bet. The only thing I always say is you're always one score away from losing. That's the only thing I don't like about it, because you always wherever you are, there's potentially a score at the end that can sort of nail you depending on which team. But let's get a price on that. Highlanders under 12.5 on World Sports betting 28-10. So you're looking, you're almost looking double the price. And given New Zealand derbies how close they are, I can totally agree with your logic there, Henrik. It could be the better value play. And the only thing I will say is there's nothing worse than backing the underdog and they run away and win it by 20 points and you do your money. But let's hear what Neil's got to say on this one.
No, Brent, I'm usually pretty biased towards the Blues, but I think this one's slightly different. The teams that come off a bye usually perform quite strongly. Not a big fan of the Highlanders, just probably some bias for you pre-COVID, but I think they'll perform quite strongly and come out quite firing. Generally, they perform very strongly in front of the zoo. That's the stand behind the poles, which houses a lot of the students there. So, and a player I really like on this game is either team to win by 7 or less at 19-10 at WSB. I can't see either one of these teams sort of beating the handicap by more than 8 points. The Blues don't generally win that well. So, and obviously with the Blues coming in as favourites, I think that they should keep this pretty close. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Highlanders do take this game. So yeah, I think for the play for me is either team to win at by 7 or less at 19-10. I think that's a cracking price for a near choice game.
Excellent. Yeah, I must say I do enjoy that bet as well, and particularly when the New Zealand teams play against each other. Kat, you got anything more for us before we head into the best bets?
No, Brent, obviously Team News not out, so there's no try scorers at this stage. Usually with the Blues playing, but the Highlanders in front of the home crowd, Ash Dixon could be a runner there. He'll obviously start and be captain. Otherwise, Akira Ioane is probably due a try. So those are probably the guys I'm going to be looking at. But actually, one of the long terms that I didn't say that I do still have is Caleb Clark as top try scorer. So I really need him to run in a couple now and Jordan to fall off the planet.
Yeah, the way Jordan's going, it's hard to see him get stopped. I see the bookies seem to have stopped pricing up on that market, which is normally an indication that it's almost done. Anything else on this game, lads, before we move into best bets? Okay, I think let's hear from our mates in Barcelona then. Let's hope this works well. Here's the video from Son of a Punt.
Evening, Brent. Evening, guys. Looking forward to another successful weekend of Super Rugby betting. Our best bets, well, we took Chiefs plus 9.5 early on and over 44.5 points in the Rebels versus the Western Force. However, both lines have shifted.
Yeah, unfortunately they've shifted now. Chiefs is now at plus 5.5, which is tough to call. So we're still going to stick with our other best bet. It's over 46.5 points in the Rebels game. So those are our best bets for the weekend.
Cheers.
So the boys are looking at overs points tomorrow morning, and as I say, there's some of the other lines have moved. I must say they look very stressed there, Neil. Obviously having a tough time in Barcelona.
No, Brent, those boys are living the dream. No prohibition in Barcelona. I can confirm that. Just a quick shout out to, I see Johnny Kutzer in the audience there. He wrote a fantastic article just sort of detailing Son of a Punt's betting strategy and just his return on Twitter. So if you can find that, I think it's under Son of a Punt reposted that. That's a superb piece of work, Johnny Kutzer. And just relating to my best bet of the week here, I'd have to go, obviously the Chiefs 9.5 isn't available anymore. That was definitely my biggest runner, but I rubber stamp that over 44, 45.5, whatever you can get on the Rebels, Western Force, and I would slide in an over 21.5, which is quite freely available on the first half points at 8 to 10. I think that's my best bet.
Excellent. Well, I'll certainly go and read Johnny's article as well. That one sounds interesting. Couch, your best bet?
Brent, it's between the Chiefs first half handicap 3.5 plus, or the Rebels second half handicap at 5.5. Maybe let's, when in doubt, don't go against the Crusaders. So I'll go for 5.5 Rebels. When in doubt, always go against the 4. So I'm going to do that. And then Palmer Sealy, if he scores at 55 to 1, I'm off to Barcelona to join the lads.
Excellent. Well, we'll all be shouting that one home. I've got to get a few rant on that as well. Henrik, I think we know what your best bet is, but just confirm it for us, please.
Yeah, minus 6.5 Brumbies at 9-10 Brent, and maybe even Noble at Brumbies 13 plus as well at the best price available. I like the men from Canberra this weekend.
Excellent. I also like the Brumbies probably as my best bet, and I also do fancy the Highlanders on the board there. No bet this week from Oracle Rugby. He's taking it easy. It would have been nice to see him go head-to-head with Couch Critic, but unfortunately not. But gents, thanks very much for joining us. To all the boys who joined us in the live chat, great to have you on. As always, have a great weekend punting. And Neil, Henrik, Couch, to yourselves, enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you on Twitter and on the forum.
Cheers. Thanks, Brent. You too.
Excellent, guys. Thanks very much. Just to have a look at the last comment here, the conductor has confirmed that he will be on the show next week, saying thanks a lot, conductor. Look forward to your efforts next week as well as we look to put one over the bookies again. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do go down below and hit the subscribe button.